Hey everybody, I'm Robert and I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how I'm going to modify my new GR Yaris for the Nürburgring. There's a lot of debate about whether the car needs to be modified, what should be done to it suspension-wise, interior-wise, etc. And we're going to go through that. But before we do that, just a couple little updates. The Apex web shop is up and running. You know I'm all about influencing and getting you guys to spend money on things that you don't need. So click the web shop, check it out, and maybe like, subscribe, and share at the same time. But no, seriously guys, there's some cool stuff in the web shop. The 2021 calendar, the boys did a lot of really hard work on it, and I think it looks really cool, and I'm really proud of the pictures that are shown in that calendar. So I think you guys will like that. Secondly, if you look in the description, there's another link, and that link is to the Dropbox file that has all of our wallpapers that we've been doing. Obviously we're building them up with each video. And Bora and Tom are going to start in the future, as they get a cool picture, they're going to drop it in there. So save that link and refer back to it, because there's going to be a lot of cool Nürburgring related images. We're going to also work on some phone images that are in the portrait mode, so you can set up on your phone if you want to. And if you guys have anything that you'd like to see in there, definitely drop that in the comments and we can touch on that. Yesterday I did a video on trail braking. It was a lot of fun. It was about a 20-minute video talking only about trail braking and driver technique. If you haven't seen that, click up here. It's somewhere in this region right there in the overlay, and check that out. But a lot of you guys asked, well, can I trail brake an all-wheel drive car? Can I trail brake a front-wheel drive car? Because I only spoke about the difference from me driving a Porsche to a McLaren and where the motor was placed. So you guys asked, can I do it rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive? What about a front-engine car? You have to keep in mind, trail braking has nothing to do with where the power is delivered from and where the motor's at. Trail braking simply has to do with the weight ratio from front to back as you transfer weight and where the car's sitting. You can trail brake, I was telling Tom earlier, you can trail brake a bus, it doesn't matter. Anything and everything can be trail braked. It's just a matter of how you do it, how aggressive you are, and how late you can take it is all dependent on the weight transfer. If you take a front wheel drive car and you trail brake it, you don't have any weight in the back, you don't have a motor in the back, you have nothing in the back, and it's quite light. And so a rear wheel drive is really fun actually to trail brake, because it really does rotate, and it's a fun way to drive a front wheel drive car. A front engine rear wheel drive car, same thing. You can trail brake anything, you can apply that. Anyways, check out that video for more information on that, but I hope that helps clear some of that up. So what am I going to do with the Yaris GR? I think it's a really cool car. We did a video recently about how it has brought the entire car community together, and I think in a really neat way. And even after that video, I've had even more people. Lars Karen, of all people, asked if he can come check this thing out because he wants to consider getting one. I mean, we're talking about such a wide range of people that are excited about this car. And I think that's really special. It makes it enjoyable for me to say, okay, wow, I felt this way when I drove it, and now other people do. It's all coming together. A lot of the people that I mentioned who were talking about it and asking me about it, they've started getting the car, and they've also been quite excited about it. But I've also started seeing some concerns and some questions. So in one of the groups, I announced that I was going to be taking the car down to Manthey Racing. Now, something you need to know about Manthey Racing is Manthey Racing works on Porsches. They have Raeder Motorsport, which is their division that works on non-Porsche cars. So if I tell you I'm taking the car to Manthey Racing, that's because in my head, that whole building, that whole facility is Manthey Racing. The reality is, if you get work done on a non-Porsche car, you're technically doing it under the brand Raeder Motorsport. You have the same technical experts, the same engineers, the same suspension setup guys, all working together with the same suppliers to develop the same product. So we're going to take this car down to Manthey Racing, and they're going to do a lot of work to it as well in terms of getting suspension work done, setup, and everything like that. And that's going to be one of the first things that we do. The car will actually go there on Monday to start getting everything measured up for the suspension install. Now, when I mentioned that in one of these groups that I was going to be sending the car down to Raeder for a full suspension, the question came back to me, Robert, why would you do that? The car has been set up and has had 50-50 road and dirt track or gravel track testing time. Shouldn't this car be perfect as it is? In the same breath, in the same group, a few minutes later, somebody responded with, man, I took out the Yaris, I absolutely loved it. I did notice that in some areas under braking, the back end moved around. Don't take the back end moving around to be concerning as it was with the Toyota Supra, something I complained about. Take it as just part of how cars work. When you have a car and you have 60-40, 60% to the front, 40% to the rear, 50-50, 70-30, and you can change that bias of how the power is delivered front to rear, you can also change how the car reacts because you're putting power down places. You might be doing engine braking differently and things like that. So all of that will change. But what you can't change with a stock suspension is you can't change the dampening, the rebound, basically how hard or how fast it moves and how far it lets it compress based on the settings of the shock. If you have a car that comes into a turn and lays down on the front and the back end starts to move around, there's a couple things that you could do to fix that. You could start looking at your spring rate. I'm not going to say that Toyota has the spring rate wrong at all. That's not something that I'm saying, but you could look at the spring rate. You could also start stiffening your suspension. You can dial in the suspension and actually make it stiffer so that when the front settles down, it doesn't transfer so much weight to the front end. It leaves a little bit on the back end, and that will help the car stay stable coming into a braking zone. So these are the things why I want to do a suspension on this car, because I want the ultimate adjustability to say, okay, coming out of the turn, I want the back to sag more. And if I'm driving in the 30% front, 70% rear, I can actually let the back load up more and maybe have better traction out of the turn. I want to be able to adjust a suspension setting so that I can work on potential understeer going into a corner and things like that. And these are all things that you can do with a fully adjustable suspension. When a manufacturer is building a car and they say, okay, we have to make this car roadworthy, they're going to put softer springs in it because you don't want to get in it and have your teeth jarred out every single time you hit a bump. They have to have shocks in it that are going to work okay on the track and quite good on the road. And when you go and you say, okay, I'm going to move more towards the track side, you're going to have really good on the track and okay on the road. And that's more the direction that I want to go with this car, because it is going to be primarily a track car. So let's talk about what I'm not going to do just for the track. We're getting a set of Pro Track wheels this week, and it's going to have winter tires on it. And my plan is to actually drive the car through the winter because I just want to have a little bit of fun with it, see what it's like in the ice and snow and everything like that. So on here right now we have Pro Track 18x8s, and that has the stock Pilot Sport 4S tire, which the Pilot Sport 4S is, in my opinion, one of the best wet tires that you can get. So if you have a wet Nürburgring, a wet GP track, wherever you are, run that tire. Don't look for something better unless you're going to a wet slick, then we have nothing to compare to. But when we're in the wet mode, I'm going to have the 18x8 Pro Tracks on it. And when we're in dry mode, we're going to have 18x9.5 Pro Tracks. And we actually already have those at Apex. We just don't have dry weather. And so those are also set up, and I'm working on 2 sets of tires for it. I've told you guys time and time again that I love running the Nankang AR1 because I like the feel. I like how, especially on a light car, how well it stays together. And I like the stiff sidewall and the feedback that it gives. But at the same time, a Dunlop Durezza is a tick faster. So we're going to run 255, I believe it's 35/18 square on this. And that's going to be on all 4 corners. And I'm going to test both the Durezza and the AR1, see which one I like more. For rental purposes, we'll run on the AR1. It's a tire that is more robust. I'm not worried about a customer going out, letting air out and damaging the sidewall. So we will have it on the AR1 for that, but maybe for some fast laps, we'll test it on the Durezza as well. So that's really the only thing I need to do to the exterior of the car. I'm going to have 3 sets of Pro Tracks, dry, wet, and winter. But what do you guys think about the color? I'm really thinking about going with white. I've seen a lot of rally cars with white wheels, and I've actually started seeing a couple pictures and mock-ups of the GR with the white wheels on it. I think that would look pretty badass. One of the topics we were discussing was maybe red wheels, but I don't know if that leans me to some of the GT3 cars, the Porsche GT3 cars that I've seen with red wheels. I think I might go with white because it's a kind of a cool throwback color on a lot of rally cars that I've seen. So let me know below, what would you guys do on the wheels on this car? This is just something we got on really quick. We're going to powder coat and paint them this winter to a new color. I'm leaning towards white. Misha suggested red. We'll let you guys decide unless you say something other than white. So next thing we want to talk about is aero, fenders, and all this stuff. I don't need that. As you can tell, I'm getting pretty old. I'm pretty set in my ways. I don't need to go crazy with the Liberty Walk stuff and the bolt-ons and everything like that. I'm perfectly happy. Someone's gonna say, you don't bolt on Liberty Walk. This is a high-end double-sided tape kit. So the reality is that I don't need to add that stuff onto the car. I think that if you can get a 255 tire on a car that weighs around 1,300 kilograms in this category, you're going to be more than fine. Obviously, there's going to be some badass stuff coming out optically that looks really cool, but we don't need it. So outside will stay pretty much like it is. We've got our stickers. Maybe we'll do a really cool livery on it at some point. That could definitely happen. White wheels, Pro Tracks, 3 different sets for the different situations. And then we go to the interior. I was really weighing between going to a full cage and putting in a full cage, but I like the interior of the car so much that I didn't want to do that. And I also don't want people feeling like they're in a race car. I want the car to still be able to go on road tours, because that's something I think a lot of people will want to come do as a road tour in this car. It's something that I still want to drive daily. I want to take it to work. I want to maybe drive it down to Italy in February or March and just enjoy the car for what it is. And when you put a full cage in it, you can't do that anymore, because one thing I will not do is drive a car with a full cage without a helmet. Maybe you'll see me drive it from Apex over to Atomic, where the E92 is stored now, or to the storage. But I really do not enjoy driving them on the road without the cage, because it is dangerous for your head. And when we have customers getting in and out of the car, in a case like this, it's going to be nice to have a half cage. So actually, we're getting a little Apex Christmas present. It is going in to get a cage put in on 29 December, and it'll be done by the 1st of the year. So we're actually going to have a half cage put in. We will have leave the interior as it is, and we'll do a nice carpet kit in the back so that everything looks clean, and have more of a club sport style. So it's going to be a really fresh, clean car that has a nice look, a nice fit and finish. We're looking at also going with the Recaro seat. I haven't decided if I want to do a true bucket like the SPG or pole position, or if you guys have seen what Misha did. He has actually an adjustable reclinable seat from Recaro. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry. I'll put it in the description and get that. But I'm also considering doing something like that. To be honest, I'm leaning towards the bucket style seat like the SPG, because I think that'll just bring it together. As you know, I drove the GT2 RS down to Italy, 1,000 kilometers there, and then we have 1,000 kilometers back. I was perfectly happy in that seat, and that seat is almost identical to a Recaro pole position. So I think that it can also be a very comfortable road car if you go with that style. I do want to try, we will have a 4-point harness at a minimum setup in the car, possibly even a 6, but I do also want to leave the stock seat belts so that, again, you can have that quick in and out and make it easy to use the car and fun to use the car. So the goal with this car is to have something that's very fast via suspension, tires, and everything like that, but also have some safety and a little aggressive look when you look through the back and you see the cage kind of crossed up in the back window and everything like that. Yeah, those are the mods that I'm going to do, or that we are going to do at Apex to the GR Yaris. Let me know how you guys would build your car. What would you do to your Yaris to make it exactly how you want? Would you go even further and do the full cage? Would you do no cage? Would you leave those back seats for your dog? What would you guys do to make this car your perfect track tool? Anyways, thank you guys so much for everything, all the comments. Again, this video right here was all pulled from comments that you guys made on yesterday's video, comments that you've made before asking what are we going to do and why are we doing it. So all the feedback that you guys give, all the comments you have, all the conversations that we have in the comment section are what make these videos and what bring us the content. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I joke about it all the time, and I do have one apology to make. Don't let me forget that, Tom. I do always joke about the influencing thing, and I tease people about the like, subscribe, and smash the, what do they call it? Smash the notification bell. And this isn't just for this channel here, but this is for all the channels that you guys support. The reason that they want subscribers maybe is because they want clout, they want big numbers, they want to get those brand deals and things like that. But it really does help their channel get visibility, and it helps their channel work and actually maybe have a leg to stand on, because a lot of people do live from their channel. Luckily we don't, so we get to make fun of some of the influencing tactics and things like that. But the apology that I have has to do with advertisements. We are running a fine balance between putting advertisements in the videos and not. And the reason that we do it is because I've noticed a direct correlation when I had said, okay, we're doing no ads at all. Those videos weren't getting shared by YouTube, so they would get a very low reach, and people say, Robert, I haven't seen a video in a while. And then I popped on your channel and I see that there's a lot of things. Well, 2 things have happened. One, they didn't subscribe, or they didn't turn on the notifications, so you are missing videos from that. But 2, we didn't do ads, so YouTube doesn't have as much as incentive to share that video, because we're not trying to make money on it. Well, the other day I put up a video, or last night I put up a video, and I just clicked the things to do the monetization. I didn't realize that YouTube, because Tom usually does this and takes care of me, YouTube actually puts ads wherever they want, and they put 6 ads in a 20-minute video. And I saw it in the morning and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was furious. And so I do apologize for you guys that watched that video and saw those ads. I didn't know that they did that. I felt really bad about it, so please forgive me. I went in and learned how to do it myself and knocked them out. You'll see in the comment section, go to the comment section on Misha's on the trail braking video, and you'll see that I typed to him, I said, this video is never going up unless I learn how to upload a thumbnail. That's where I'm at. So anyways, seriously guys, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it. Keep the great comments, keep the great conversation, and most importantly, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.